there's no place like home for the holidays. And no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can.
Welcome back to Horror for the Holidays, a Christmas horror movie podcast. I'm Jay Logsdon.
And I'm the Yule Hag.
Oh no, the Yule Hag's here.
April Fools. Got you, Jay.
Oh, you got me. Oh man, I've been gotten so bad.
Where's the beef?
Where is the beef?
I don't know. It's gone away.
That was some beef though when we saw it on screen though. I will say that.
I was not expecting to see it.
to see full beef.
Especially because in the very scene prior to it, he had his pants on.
That is in my notes as well. Let's get into it. We're talking about 1986's Slaughter High.
Wow.
Released November 14th, 1986. For a movie that takes place around St. Patrick's Day, Jesus Christ, April Fool's Day. Not a great date, guys.
Behind the times. And it released the same year as the movie titled April Fool's Day, which was also this movie's title.
We're gonna I think we're gonna talk, because we watched April Fool's Day last year. I think we're gonna talk about this at the end, maybe.
The Armageddon effect.
Written and directed by George Dugdale, Mark Ezra, and Peter Litton. Really tells you that you got the mark of quality with a movie that's written and directed by three guys.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Carolyn Monroe plays Carol, who we will see again in Maniac and Don't Open Till Christmas.
She makes the movie more bearable.
She a Bond girl, am I right?
I think so.
She's either a Bond girl or she is in James Bond movies.
I think she's in a James Bond movie. Yeah, you know what I love more than anything, Jay, is a movie where British actors are trying to sound American.
I mean, yeah, that's why you're such a big fan of the Doctor Strange movies.
Yes.
It's me, Benedict Cumberbatch.
I mean, Stephen Strange.
Simon Scudamore plays Marty. He's great. He was so great. R.I.P. R.I.P. Simon Scudamore. Carmine. Oh boy, it's a difficult name. Iannaccone. Iannaccone.
Sure.
Plays Skip.
Yeah.
We got Donnie Yeager as Stella. Gary Martin plays Joe, who seems to have carved out a nice niche for himself doing voice acting work. Mm-hmm. Billy Hartmus plays Frank. Michael Safran plays Ted. John Siegel plays Carl. Kelly Baker plays Nancy and appears in Don't Open Till Christmas. Sally Cross plays Susan. Josephine Scotty plays Shirley. Mark Smith is Coach, and Dick Randall plays Manny, and is a party guest in Don't Open Till Christmas. Also wrote the screenplay for Pieces, which is in the background in Manny's one scene.
Cool.
And then and John Clark as Digby, the janitor. It's probably star of the movie. Good old Digby.
Hey, aren't you the janitor from way back then? No, I'm the caretaker.
I'm the caretaker now.
I love how he says no, even though, yes, he was the janitor back then. It's The Spy Who Loved Me.
Okay.
It's the Bond movie she's in.
Also, writer-director Mark Ezra is the Jester.
Oh. Steve Manasian, did you mention him? The producer.
I did not mention him.
He produced the original Friday the 13th.
And this feels very Friday the 13th-y.
Well, and it's kind of been overshadowed by like Friday the 13th, prom night, stuff like that. I hardly ever see anybody talk about this movie.
I mean, we're gonna talk about it, but like, I can't help but think that the poster doesn't help.
Yeah.
For years, I saw the poster, and I always thought this was a Tales from the Crypt movie.
Well, and I think having to change the name because Paramount apparently threatened to sue them because they were releasing April Fool's Day the same year.
Oh, geez.
And so they're like, well, we can't afford a legal battle over this movie, so we're going to have to retitle it. That's why every time they're like, April Fools in the movie, I'm like, joke's on you, Slaughter High.
Tagline. Marty majored in cutting classmates.
Whoa. I wonder who the killer is. Is it Marty?
Oh,
I think it's Marty.
we'll find out. Budget of $2.1 million. I could not find box office figures, but also I saw that maybe it was released and then unreleased and then released again.
Yeah,
it had some distribution issues.
Yes, it had. So there were some problems. I believe it was part of a slasher movie boycott attempt too, so that didn't help out much. And I believe it mostly saw success in like syndication because obviously TV networks need stuff to play, and they're like, hey, this seems like something people would watch.
A lot of the reviews I saw were, I think, kind of said the same thing. Like, I saw this movie on TV, or like not a lot of like, oh, I saw this movie in theaters. Like, no, this was a movie I like saw on accident, like when I was home alone one time, and and it stuck with me. And like I saw a lot of reviews of people having nostalgia for the movie.
This I didn't realize it at the time because I had only watched a couple movies on this disc. But my mom bought me one of those like movie collections you could get for like $5.
20 movies for $5. They're all like super compressed.
Yes, and that was on Slaughter High is on there along with like Chud 2 and stuff like that. Like all the garbage sequels and shit that nobody wanted. From
Mike
that era.
Lombardo's favorite Chud movie, Chud 2, Bud the Chud.
God, Mike just loves that movie. We should go to visit Mike, I think, and bring him a signed copy of Chud 2.
If we can figure that out, we might have to. Where to watch? Tubi, although I think I saw it's leaving the day that this episode gets posted.
Yeah, I mean, you can find it on various, like, you can buy it on, if you want to, you can buy it on Vudu. You can rent it on YouTube for like $1.99. Stuff. I think honestly, there's a couple. The quality is not great, but there's a couple rips of it up on YouTube. You could just watch.
Yeah, I know this is pretty easy to watch.
But, I mean, it's not. It hasn't ever been remastered anywhere, so the quality's not going to be that great, no matter where you watch it.
Which I think is a big detriment to the movie. I think it kind of an issue we've ran into a couple times with like filming in the dark in in the 80s.
Yes.
Makes your movie look real bad at times.
The cinematography in this movie is something we definitely got to talk about.
But personal experience, I mean, I didn't even know it was an April Fool's movie until last year when you did your big big prank.
My big prank where I told Jay I actually watched 3 other April Fool's movies instead of the one we were supposed to.
But I had seen Slaughter High and I'd heard people talk about it and I'd known of it. And like I said, I always thought it was a Tales from the Crypt movie because like the poster is like a skeleton man wearing like a graduation robe. Yeah. And like maybe holding an apple. And I'm just like, oh, and just like you pass by and you're like, oh, it's a Tales from the Crypt movie. And I would, and I like Tales from the Crypt, but like, it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, I'll watch that later. Like,
yeah, definitely. It does not grab you to like, I got to watch this now type of thing. It's like, if you're super bored, Slaughter High could probably be pretty good for you.
I think if you put the Jester on the cover, like,
you
might get people to watch it. That's a pretty creepy costume.
Yes. That would be cool.
Well, you ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's start.
Dive into our synopsis here. We get our title card with synthy music, underneath and thunder and laughing, like a thunder sound a thunder sound effect and like a laugh track. We then see Doddsville County High School exterior as we get a hard rock song that's written for the movie.
I love those songs.
Oh, me too. And scenes of kids in school like kind of walking around, and there's like a PA comes over, it's like, all the kids to the track for the track meet, like. Marty is led by Carol to the girls' locker room to fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And they are closely followed behind by a large group of classmates with what appears to be camera equipment.
I think at this point, Jay, it's important to mention that all these people look 35 plus that are somehow in high school.
The only two or three that don't are Marty, Skip, and Shirley.
Yes, they look like they'd probably be in college, but still, it's a lot better than some of the other ones.
No, I saw one review online where someone was like, "Shit, Carol looks like." When I first saw this, I thought Carol was the principal.
Yeah,
like
no, she should have been like a teacher or something.
As they run by, there is a calendar on the wall that changes from March 31st to April 1st.
Oh.
As the hard rock song's lyrics go, April Fool's Day. And they keep just randomly playing parts of that soundtrack, like of that song over and over again.
I love it.
Carol gets Marty to go into the shower and get undressed. And while he is in there, Carol lets the other kids in. Side note, while in the shower, Marty sees some graffiti that says, Marty rants and sucks. And he changes the S to an F.
Nice.
Solid.
You fucks.
Solid, Marty. That was great. No notes.
Real J Loxton move.
Marty messes with a French tickler. Like, he blows it up. And it's filled with lotion.
Weird.
I don't know what went on in the 80s. A janitor walks by, sees all these teens in the locker room, and just walks by like, not my problem.
No, Jay.
That's Digby.
It does become his problem, though, because kids are in the locker room. Yeah, who cares? With girls. What the fuck?
Marty, clearly wearing jeans, opens the shower curtain with a, here's Marty. And when he opens the curtain, all these simple teens yell April Fools, and Marty is full frontal, hanging dong. Where did his jeans go?
I don't know.
These temporal jeans that vanish.
They were blown off by the sheer force of his embarrassment, Jay. Thus embarrassing him even further.
I don't know that Marty had anything to be embarrassed.
Well,
Marty's packing.
I was going to say, yeah, if it was me, I would just been like, so what?
Marty had a huge dong.
Exactly. It's like, usually you're embarrassed because it's super small.
They spray Marty with a fire extinguisher, chanting, "Where's the beef?
Yes.
Where's the beef?" One of the teens is dressed like a jester. They brought a car battery and jumper cables, and when Marty goes to like grab a towel off the towel rack, he gets electrocuted by it.
Of course. Yeah.
Hilarious prank.
All your kinds of funny April Fool's pranks.
They then grab a fully nude Marty and give him like a repeated swirly as the coach barges in and stops it and tells all the pranksters that they have to basically do detention after school. Which one of the girls...
You've just assaulted a man and possibly performed attempted murder on a legal basis. Get detention.
Stella, one of the girls goes, "That stupid dork Marty, it's all his fucking fault."
Yeah.
Literally was not. None of what just transpired was Marty's fault.
See, what you don't realize, Jay, is that Marty used his psychic powers to call out to the coach and tattle on them all.
In the gym, the coach reads the pranksters the riot act, but notices that two of them are missing. Those two are busy offering Marty a joint that they apparently have laced with something. And while in the chemistry lab, Marty lights it with a Bunsen burner, which looks pretty cool, and then runs to the bathroom where he starts puking. Skip, the leader, sneaks out of detention and goes and messes with Marty's chemistry experiment, which causes it to explode and catch on fire. And while Marty is scrambling to fix the issues and shut the gas off, a bottle of nitric acid that was precariously placed on the top shelf.
Damn, I hate it when that happens.
Just falls like right on top of Marty, splashing him in the face.
Oof.
And then there's a large explosion in the chemistry lab.
Rough.
The fire alarm sounds, and everyone rushes to see Marty like in the bathrooms, like scarred, like pinned to the ground and screaming. Next, we see EMTs carting Marty out. And Carol rushes up to apologize, but Marty lunges at her to strangle her. And then Carol wakes up, and it was just a bad dream.
I think we're past the point of apologies, at the point where you've disfigured, not only electrocuted and embarrassed, caused
sexually
bodily
assaulted.
harm, yes, just plain assaulted, and then, yes, give him chemical burns, disfiguring chemical burns. I think we're beyond sorry.
Poisoned with
the
the
lace
joint.
joint, yeah. I think we're a little bit beyond sorry.
She talks to her agent Manny, who sounds like he's trying to cast her in a porno.
He probably is.
But she says she'd rather go to her class reunion to my crummy class reunion instead.
Oh. Totally legitimate class reunion, Jay. I'm sure when we get there, the place will be cool looking.
We see Carol and Skip driving separately back to Doddsville. Skip hears on the radio that it's going to storm all weekend.
Damn.
Which will make night travel difficult. I'm sure that won't come back later on in the movie.
Yes, driving in a storm's not the most fun thing in the world, Jay, but if I got there and saw what I will see in this movie in a couple minutes, I think I would just turn around and go home.
Right, same. Skip runs into Stella, Joey, and Nancy after Skip's car breaks down, and we get this great gag of Skip asking Joey if he can fix it, and Joey's like, yeah, sure, give me a second. And then the next scene is Skip's car driving, and you're like, oh, Joey got it fixed again. And then you see the rope that's towing it behind Joey's truck.
Nice.
They arrive at the school, meet up with the rest of the gang, and find out that the school is run down and the doors are locked. I don't know why they don't just leave.
Yeah, no, Jay. It's obviously it's a challenge to get into the reunion. It's part of the fun.
No one else is there. They don't know who sent the invites, and we see that someone watches them from inside the school. But then Skip takes credit for planning it, but then didn't plan it. It's very weird. I assume it's like Skip being a douche, but at a certain point, like, maybe don't take, if you can't get inside, maybe don't be like, oh yeah, I totally planned this.
I was going to say, and who would believe that? He can't even get into the building. Yeah, he totally planned the event.
Skip is able to like break a window and get inside, and they let everyone else in and then scare them with an April Fool's.
Oh boy.
But it is pointed out that April Fool's isn't until midnight.
It ends at noon. Apparently, it goes from midnight to noon.
Such obscure April Fool's lore.
I was gonna say, this will come back later, but I want to point out that line when we get to it.
At first, everyone wants to leave, but we also need to point out that April Fool's Day is also Marty's birthday.
Yes,
and so like when he thought he was gonna get laid, he was also, this is the best birthday ever.
Yep, classic.
At first, everyone wants to leave, but because of the storm, they all agree to stay and look around. They comment on how run down everything looks until they find a room that is decorated, has a sign that says "Welcome back," and their old lockers are in the room for some reason.
Yeah, your old reunion lockers, Jay.
But like it's only these like 8 kids.
Yeah. We were the only people who mattered out of that class, Jay. We were the main characters.
They find a bunch of like lost items, and Carol finds a note from Marty. And then they notice that Marty's locker is also in there.
Oh, no.
With his yearbook still in it. We also get a jump scare with like a rat.
Yeah.
It's
lots of weird random scares in this movie.
And then Skip tells a story about Marty like going crazy. And then he implies that it was all a joke and Marty's working for IBM. Last I heard, Marty was working for IBM.
Okay.
They all start partying, and we see a guy in a jester costume patrolling the halls.
I bet that's normal. That happens at all reunions, right?
Yep. I'm supposed to be the jester at my next high school reunion. Nancy has to go pee, so Carol goes with her, and Skip and Frank, I think, scare her, and they run into Digby, the old janitor, who tells them they are tearing the place down in a month.
And he's actually not the janitor now, Jay. He's the caretaker.
Yep. This place has been abandoned for 5 years. So did they close the school? Were they the last class to graduate? Like
I don't know, because I don't know how much time is supposed
they
to
don't tell us how much time passed.
Because everybody looks the exact same age.
Digby goes to leave, but gets jumped by the guy in the jester mask. He gets lifted up by his throat and impaled on a hook, like attached to a door, and then he gets like his hands nailed to the door.
Damn, he was 2 days from retirement too.
Poor Digby, R.I.P. Also later on, one of the girls like finds Digby. I think it's Carol finds Digby's body.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Nancy. And I just had this moment where I wanted to be like, a guy I don't know.
That's right, Jay. That's right.
The old janitor. Some of the girls play a joke on Skip, making him drop a quarter into a funnel in his pants and then dropping water into it to make him look like he peed his pants, because it's now officially April 1st.
Oh, good.
Because it's past midnight.
I'm glad they're breaking out the pranks, Jay.
You've got 12 hours because April Fool's Day ends at noon.
For some reason.
Ted shotguns a beer, but something in it causes his stomach to expand and explode. And then we see bluish acid dripping out of the can of PBR.
I mean, this is what happens when you shotgun a PBR.
Everyone else tries to escape, but the doors are locked and the window is electrified. That causes Nancy to get knocked out because she grabs the electrified window. The one who didn't try to escape is Shirley, who got covered with blood and separates from the others and finds a bathroom and attempts to clean herself in a bathtub. Meanwhile,
Bad move.
Meanwhile, Carl is able to fit through the electrified gate. and can get to Carol's car. He tries starting it, but the engine won't turn over, even though Carol like assures him, she's like, turns over on the first try every try, and then it doesn't turn over.
Oh, man.
And then he like looks in his rearview mirror and he sees the Jester behind him who stabs him through the stomach. Great kill.
Yeah.
I will get to kills. The people inside then see the car like start to leave, and then it turns around, and they're like, "What the hell's going on? Why is he coming back?" And then the headlights illuminate Carl's body like nailed to a fence post. Shirley, oblivious to what's just occurred, continues to take her bath. But we see that the water that's flowing turned from clear to brown.
Yeah.
And it's acid, and she starts eating away at her skin.
And the best melting effect of all time.
I mean, it looks really good initially, and then it looks really, really cheesy.
Yes, it goes from like Hollywood movie to Tales from the Crypt in like 1 second.
She's able to pull herself out of the tub just to see the Jester watching her, and she falls back in.
This is one of the things that makes you wonder what happens at the end. Because I was like, so Marty knew she was going to get dirty and take a bath at her high school reunion? I was like, that seems weird.
And then, you're right, it does seem weird. I mean, maybe he just rigged up all the water with like a thing of acid. I don't know.
I guess. Seems like a lot of work, especially in an abandoned school.
But no, you get her covered, like her skin's all brown, looks kind of like it's burned. You get this nice, like, kind of like burning effect, like on her face. Yeah. Looks great. Yeah, it was really and then she falls back into the tub, and they just like do like a dissolve, and they like replace her with a skeleton.
And then a skeleton popped out.
Ah!
Did the old Rick and Morty vat of acid.
Pretty much. Everyone but the still knocked out Nancy and Skip go to investigate. Skip sees Susan arrive in her car, and Skip tries to tell her to turn back, but she can't hear him over the storm. She gets inside, walks down a long hallway where like the lights keep turning off. Damn. And at the end is like a cartoon drawing of Marty, almost like semi-realistic.
Yeah.
And she's like, Marty Ranson? And then two hands shoot out at her. Joe, Frank, and Skip find a tractor that Joe says he thinks he can fix so they can bust through the doors and escape. So he tells everyone else to go and find something else to do while he works on it. Stella reveals to Frank that her and Joe's son is actually his, and they fuck.
Oh, boy.
Meanwhile, Joe is still working on the tractor, and who he thinks is Frank comes in to help him, while Frank is actually helping himself to Joe's wife. The killer then starts the tractor and removes the jack holding it up, so the blades fall onto Joe, and he dies with a big spray of blood.
Lawnmower kill.
Stella and Frank continue fucking, and at climax, Stella reaches up and grabs the frame of the bed, which is made of metal, and they both get electrocuted to death with a car battery.
Nice. Good job. I wonder who the killer is, Jay.
Who knows? Nancy, having come to, finds Joe's body, alerting Skip and Carol. They run upstairs and find Frank and Stella dead. Skip makes a plan to make it to noon, because April Fool's Day ends at noon, and that means Marty will stop.
Marty won't harm us. I know he won't. Really?
He's killed all these other people, but now he's gonna stop.
Damn, at 12:01, I'll have to stop.
He's like, we just need to stay awake. He immediately passes out, and he wakes up because he hears jingling in the hallway. He goes to investigate just to get grabbed and dragged away from behind.
Good God.
Carol and Nancy wake up noticing Skip missing. They go looking for Skip, and we cut to Skip with a noose around his neck, and the Joker leaves a room, leaving him hanging. But nice. It turns out that the rope wasn't tied well to the wall, and Skip is able to break free.
Damn it.
Carol and Nancy find that all the bodies are missing, and while investigating, they find a room playing a video of the shower prank, and Marty's yearbook is laid out. With Nancy's picture crossed out. Nancy runs out because he's going to get me next.
No shit.
She runs outside and gets chased by the Jester, and she falls into a septic tank. She then tries to climb out, but the Jester just pushes her back down in and closes the lid.
Good. She deserves it.
Carol grabs a bat and runs through the school, running into the Jester. She takes him out at first, drops the bat, and runs away. The Jester just picks up the bat and starts following her.
Oh, I don't know if this speaks, Jay, to the quality of the movie or not, and it's pretty tragic. The guy who played Marty killed himself shortly after making this movie.
That's what R.I.P. Because he did a great job. Like, I thought he was one of the better actors in the movie.
I know, right? It's like he should have gone on to do other things.
The jester exchanges the bat for a javelin, and Carol like runs up to the auditorium or like to the theater, and she's like hiding behind curtains, and we see the javelin pole kind of like try to stab her in between the curtains, but she's able to dodge it.
Unfortunately.
She's then like kind of runs around a corner and finds a hand axe. And we see like the jester kind of like making his way towards her, and then like hears something and kind of runs off, but she hears someone still making their way towards her. So she turns around and slams them in the face with the hand axe, but it was Skip.
Finally.
Gets a hand axe to the eye.
Fucking Skip. Glad he's dead.
Me too.
This movie, even though it did some things in an odd way and the cinematography was questionable, it did give me that feeling of wanting to see all these people dead like Thanksgiving did.
Yep.
Technical difficulties there, folks. J Logs almost killed the podcast. Now resuming.
Marty tries to attack her. And we got to get him like chasing her through the hall. And like at one point, like she loses him. Then he like pops out and she's able to toss him through a window. He gets defenestrated. And she's like, I think and the clock then turns to noon.
Yes.
And so I think she thinks everything's fine. But the jester gets back up and chases her to the shower from the beginning of the movie and takes off his mask. And we see Marty's face is all deformed Freddy Krueger style.
What? Marty, you're the killer?
Marty then stabs her in the shower with the javelin. What a euphemism.
Yes.
And then walks through the halls yelling, I showed you all April Fools, motherfuckers.
Yes.
Marty then hears a bunch of voices wailing his name, and he sees ghostly demonic images of all of his victims who attack him.
Oh, no.
Marty wakes up screaming, bandages all over his face. A nurse tells him to calm down, and the bandages should be off in a few weeks. In the hall, a doctor sees that like the alarm for Marty's room is going off, and we see the nurse struggling to restrain Marty, only for the nurse to turn around, and it's Marty who stabs the doctor in the eye with a syringe, and then stares in the camera and starts to rip off his skin graft. End of movie. Also, Marty apparently had time to switch clothes with the nurse.
Of course, Jay.
End of movie. Credits roll.
And the question is, did anything in this movie actually happen?
That's a good question. That's something I wanted to talk about too. I think that's kind of for my final rating, but
Yeah.
where do you want to start on our criteria?
Wow. You know what? Let's talk about how April Foolsy is this movie, Jay.
Our April Fool's spirit.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was leaning towards basically not at all. They keep referencing the fact that it's April Fool's Day, but other than that, like the pranks they play are not like April Fool's kind of pranks. They're like
Cruel.
Yes, I was gonna say they're like the kind of things you'd see like on a "What Would You Do" episode,
Right.
or something. What would you do if people were torturing a poor boy in high school?
That's the thing. I would have done a thing. I think I don't know if they were short for time. Like there were so many. This was one of those movies. Like as I was watching, I was like, I have so many notes about things they could have added to this movie to I
Yes.
think make it better.
No, there's a lot of things. That
And like I would have done a thing where like Marty keeps pulling like innocuous, silly little pranks on these people.
Yes.
Like, oh, he unscrewed the salt.
Yeah.
And they respond with like assaulting him in the shower. And
Yes.
like, and so it's like, you know, but it would at least like set the thing of like, oh no, we're just pranking you, Marty. Like you pranked us. Like they have, you know, like, oh, Marty's pranking us, so we're going to prank him back. But
Yes.
it's something much, much worse. But it's like, no, there's none of that. It's just them being cruel to this kid for no reason.
Yes, because that was what really didn't sell the April Fool's spirit of the movie to me, was like these pranks are all one-sided, and then Marty comes back and does his version of cruel pranks to them or whatever as the jester. But it's like that was never like established, because like I think what you were saying would have been a great thing to do, because establishing Marty as like a prankster or whatever would make these kills and stuff make more sense. because as it stands now, it's like, so he just became this Machiavellian prank master because he got chemical burned or whatever.
And like some of his, some of the kills are reminiscent of pranks they pulled. He kills Carol in the shower.
The acid thing.
The electrocution.
Yep.
Like, but those are and I guess you could say like poisoning the beer versus the poisoned
joint.
But it's like, but then the rest of the kills aren't themed around the pranks that they pulled on him.
That was the thing too. It's like it felt like they kind of pulled back halfway when they're like, we're gonna make a wacky prank kill movie, and then they're like, yeah, but we should probably put some regular ones in there too.
That's like, no, keep them all wacky.
Make them all pranks if that's what this is going to be.
Have more of the opening of the movie be all the pranks they pulled on Marty, and then have those specific people get their comeuppance in those specific ways.
Yes. That's another thing. It's like the prank should have fit the person who pranked Marty in that same way.
And I don't think any of them line up.
I don't think they line up, no.
Do you want to do April Fool's jokes, favorite quotes?
Sure. Oh no, Marty's gonna get me next. Like, really? You the one who helped start this entire thing? Gee, why would he be possibly mad at you?
I have a bunch of all of my quotes are really long. Because it's like the quote on its own isn't very good, but the quote in context of the things said around it.
That was my thing. It's like, I'm going to have to read half the script to make these quotes make sense.
Come on. You want to do it, don't you? This is Carol. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding? Sure I do. You know Marty. Game for anything. You have done it before, haven't you? What do you think you've got here? Some little virgin? Me? I'm a sex machine.
Yes. I'm a sex machine. Grr. No context needed.
And then, Carol, this is the best birthday I've ever had. Carol, April 1st is your birthday? And I think this is the moment where Carol maybe starts to have second
I made a terrible mistake. I hope my old college javelin doesn't come back to bite me.
Are you going to do this picture? So this is Manny, Carol's agent. I'm gonna try and do a Manny voice, okay. Sleazy agent. Are you gonna do this picture or not? I've got to know because the guy wants to know this afternoon. I'm not doing it. You're not? Tell me why the hell not? What about my percentage? Look, Manny, the guy's weird, the story's weird, and what? And you're weird. Listen to me. You take your clothes off for the photographers every day of the week. What's the difference? The difference is the guy should be locked up. He has been. Manny, that's not reassuring to your client.
I had that as well. The guy should be locked up. He has been.
I have one last one, unless you want to. If you have any,
you can go ahead.
All right, Stella, talk dirty, Frank. Talk dirty. Tits, dirty.
Yes.
Fuck. Tits. Screw. Shit. As Frank's trying to talk dirty during coitus.
Yes. I found that pretty hilarious as well. Of course, we had what you mentioned earlier. We'll take my car. It starts every time. Proceeds to not start. Marty is like, hey, what's going on? When she doesn't get in the shower with him and right away, and she's like, ever tried under the shower before? Better get out of those clothes. I just like the little detail that she throws a random bra over the shower too. Yep. It's not hers. I just had this, keep an extra bra on me.
I think someone brought it. Yeah. I don't think
they brought it. They brought it for their weird sex tape filming crew that they have out there.
Yep.
Which I still don't understand why they had all that filming equipment to pull a prank. We gotta get this on video, man.
Yeah, let's document the crime we're about to commit.
Exactly.
Do you have any others?
No, you pretty much pulled the same ones that I grabbed.
All right, well let's do April Fool's rapping.
Yes, of course.
Sets, costumes, film stuff, etc.
I mean, we already talked about it a little bit, but the jester costume's pretty cool.
I really dug that look. It's like an old man mask with a jester hat, and then Marty's wearing like his Letterman's jacket around and like sneakers and blue jeans, and it's such a neat look, and I think they could have made a franchise off of that look. And I think maybe part of that is Sam Scudamore passing away, taking his own life. Maybe derailed those plans, but like I really think you could have made a maybe not an icon the level of like Freddie or Michael, but I think you could have done you could have made a couple more Slaughter Highs.
No, you definitely could have. Honestly, I think that his suicide may have just derailed those plans, because with the producer of Friday the 13th being involved, I'm pretty sure a sequel was probably planned.
Yeah. Liked Marty's Freddy Krueger-esque look post acid burn.
That was pretty cool.
I think the school's a neat setting, but I would have liked to have seen more done with it. It's like we get the gym a couple times. We get like one classroom.
Yeah.
And then we get like the same, we get the theater, like the auditorium or whatever, and then we get the same like one bathroom like multiple times.
No, definitely. I really wish they could have done a little bit. Honestly, I was like, did they build these sets or did they film in a real high school?
I think they filmed in a school in Britain somewhere.
Yes, because I know it was filmed in the UK, and I know their schools aren't really laid out like ours, so maybe that's part of the problem.
And that could be, but yeah.
And of course, we got all of our amazing American accents. Let's party, dude.
The original song was awesome.
Yes. Love the soundtrack.
But I would say like maybe they played. I loved the music sting. I loved the little bam, 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 bam. Like I loved that sound effect. But I like randomly they would play the song. Like they would start playing the song, and I'm like, you don't need to do that. Like the song is good like at the beginning and at the end. You don't need it.
Nah, we need random parts of the song in the movie, Jay. Trust me.
And then the thing I think we commented on, Marty, Skip, and Stella are the only ones that look like maybe they could be in high school.
Yes. Stretching it even then, but the other ones, yes, they all look like they're 40.
All right. Well, Jeff, broken bulb, brilliant bulb. One thing you want to fix, one thing you want to praise. Corny joke, good joke. Corny prank, good prank.
Yeah, you ready for the corny prank of this thing, Jay?
Yeah.
Cinematography really lets this movie down. I think if they had tried to film this not like constantly in shadow, I think it would probably have a lot better reputation, because that's one of the main problems with this movie, especially when it's been compressed for like TV or whatever, and you're not seeing it on the big screen. You cannot see what the hell is going on.
There's just scenes that are my wife walked in at one point, and I went like, I was kind of like moving around, and she heard the TV, and she's like, wait, you're still watching? And I'm like, yeah, they're just shooting in complete darkness.
Yep.
And they have no lighting for it whatsoever. Like
it's bad.
It made me really appreciate To All a Good Night, where it was like clearly they like put a filter over it, so it was filmed in the day, but it looks like nighttime.
Yes, they should, honestly, they should have done day for night in this movie, and it would have been a lot better. Because there's like, I would say probably a good quarter of this movie where you can't tell what the hell's going on because the shot is so dark. And I don't understand why that choice was made.
I would have liked some clarification on what the ending is.
Yeah.
It feels like there are almost two endings. There's Marty killing Carol in the shower, and then like him seeing all the ghosts and hallucinating, and then him waking up in the hospital. So and then he, and everything that happens there. And my thought, like, so was it all a dream? Did they find him in the, like, they find all these bodies and they're like, oh, Marty was there too. And they don't, oh, someone murdered all these people, but Marty survived. And like, oh, we're going to, oh, well, we can give Marty a skin graft or something.
Yeah.
And and then, or was that kind of thing like all a dream? And this is his like escaping from Smith's Grove Sanitarium, like Michael's version of escaping,
I'm almost wondering, because what I took from it, basically based on the clues that they had within the movie, because I'm like, some of this stuff it's using dream logic, like the acid running out of the pipe from the school and stuff like that, or like the him working on the tractor, but then the tractor works all of a sudden when Marty needs to use it to kill somebody.
Right.
Because the whole thing was he couldn't get it started, and I'm like, this is weird. And then when it did that at the end, I'm like, oh, so he was like hallucinating this whole thing, and then he's actually escaping at the end to go try to do this, I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
And so then, it's like, so is it like the ending to Friday the 13th where, Jason shows up, but that's all a dream. Like, there's so many kind of like questions left unanswered.
I'm thinking the majority of the movie is like a memory of what happened in like a fantasy, and then at the very end, he's like escaping to try to carry this fantasy out. I'm assuming is what's going on.
I think like I agree. I think you're right, but it's like I would rather just the movie have been real and maybe cut that part out.
That's the thing. It's like I saw where they laid like the possible clues to give you like, oh, it was all a fantasy or whatever. But I'm like, I don't really like that in movies unless there's like a really good payoff or a really good reason for that to happen. It would have been a lot cooler if it was just the guy who got disfigured by a prank in high school decided to kill these people.
Brilliant bulb. Thing you want to praise?
I was kind of flip-flop back and forth on this because I was like, there's a lot of stuff you could praise in this movie. But honestly, I wanted to praise the dialogue in this movie because even though it's some of the stupidest stuff at some points, it is like very entertaining. It really keeps the movie going, even though there's not a lot of stuff happening in a lot of these scenes.
There's so much great dialogue that I think is let down by how bad some of the acting is.
The script is great, but the people delivering it oftentimes are not so much. But like one of the lines I pointed out to you was, "Hey, aren't you the old janitor?" "No, I'm the caretaker now." "But you were the old janitor, so
Right.
yes, you are the old." "No, I ceased to be the old janitor. I am now the caretaker."
Oh, you mean I'm do you mean like I'm the old guy who is the janitor, or do you mean
Yes.
like I was the old janitor and now I'm the caretaker? I don't understand what you're asking.
Yes, playing word games. That would have been funny if he broke it down like that.
Yeah, classic Digby playing word games.
Exactly.
My brilliant bulb. I mentioned this earlier. I really enjoyed that little music sting. The I thought that was so cool, and I could see that with the jester mask and everything. I could have seen, that could have been the like I could see that being the thing, and like. I'm like it's all kind of there.
Yes, that's the thing that really frustrated me about this movie. I think if they had spent just a little bit more money on it and maybe tried like 15% harder, maybe got like some better actors to be in this, because some of them are fine, but some of them are terrible, and it really just ruins the whole thing. I think this could have been a franchise like you were talking about. I don't think it would be, probably not like a Friday the 13th, maybe like a Leprechaun. Something like on that tier.
No, that was kind of what I was thinking. Was I'm like this is like a Leprechaun level, like the tier down from the true icon.
Yes.
Well, Jeff, every episode of Horror for the Holidays, we rank our movie on one of three categories. Is it?
We are forced to do this.
April Hilarious? Is it? Corny as hell, or I'm trying to come up with these on the fly, or is it a good joke? I don't know.
Well, we'll workshop that for next year. This is a thing I struggled with a lot because I was like, a lot of this movie is really bad, but a lot of this movie is also so bad that it's entertaining. And so ultimately, I think I'm going to have to settle on corny as hell for this one. I wouldn't say it's quite like, an acid bath style prank of a movie. But it's on the low end of ho hilarious, I would say. Like, it's just barely squeaking by. It's got just enough to push it over the line, which I think if they had utilized the stuff they'd had in this movie better, because like Jay said, all the pieces were there for this to be a good movie. I think it could be on the high end, or maybe even a seasonally scary. But at the state this movie was delivered in, it's like on the bottom edge, almost hanging off the edge of ho hilarious.
I'm right there with you. It's a weak ho hilarious. I really wanted to like the movie more. I just couldn't. I think there was a lot to like about it, but there just wasn't much meat on the bone.
It didn't tie itself well together, even though there's a lot of things you can point to and be like, hey, yeah, that was pretty fun. But you're like, hey, the Jester mask was pretty cool. But then you've got the terrible accents. You can't see half the movie because it's too dark. Your terrible acting on some. Skip should have died like in the first 20 minutes, and that would have improved the rest of the movie.
It reminded me of more of movies that I like really well, and it didn't stand enough, I think, on its own merits.
Yeah.
I got some Dorm That Dripped Blood mixed in there. It felt like there was some stuff where I'm like, oh, that's kind of Dorm That Dripped Bloody. A heavy Terror Train vibes.
Yes.
The pranking at the beginning leading to the killings later on. And a little bit of Happy Birthday to Me vibes. It had a little bit of that mixed in. And honestly, when the bodies went missing, I thought we were going to get a Happy Birthday to Me kind of final reveal. Have you seen Happy Birthday to Me?
I have not.
So basically all these people get killed, and then the girl goes into like her birthday party and finds all of her friends' dead bodies. It's kind of like Thanksgiving where they're like John Carver set the table.
Yeah.
But she finds like all of her friends' dead bodies around the table. And I thought we were going to get a scene where like Carol gets chased into the bathroom by Marty, by the Jester. And in it are, because all of her friends' bodies are missing. What happened to all the bodies? And in it, she finds all of her friends dead, posed in the ways that they were when they were filming, or they're all kind of like lined up in there, and Marty's got all the stuff kind of set up. I thought that's what we were going to get, and I was kind of disappointed that we didn't get that.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
But there, I think there are some really good effects. I loved favorite kill real fast. Jeff, do you have your favorite kill?
I was like, I really liked the lawnmower kill, but honestly, I think the dissolving in the acid bath kill is still my favorite.
I think that one was solid, and the stomach exploding.
Yes.
That looked so goopy and gross. I loved that.
That was very well done.
Yeah, so some good effects, some good ideas. I think there are some real good ideas, and a great looking killer, but it is really weighed down by the bad acting, the bad lighting, and also the poster that doesn't really tell you much about what the movie's about.
A lot of odd choices. It's like it really shows you how little it takes to ruin a movie, I think. Like, if you just do a few things wrong, it can really just drag down an otherwise great concept.
No, it's like you said, it's teetering right over the edge of you'll be sorry, but it's just holding on.
Yes, it's got some grip strength.
Like there's just enough there to be like this one is ho hilarious, but like it's pretty weak.
Yeah, I could recommend this movie, but just barely. Like you would probably watch this once for April Fool's Day.
Well, Jeff, just stop to think maybe we were wrong, and maybe we're getting we're getting pranked.
I have it on good authority, Jay, that we're very stupid.
All right, pull up some reviews. My thought was because I was wondering if you were going to kind of feel the same way. I was like I don't know where Jeff's going to side, but I was like I grabbed one that was because we're kind of middle of the road. I grabbed one that was a 10 out of 10, this movie's great, I love this movie. And then I grabbed a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, I grabbed a couple that were like 3-star reviews. I thought that would probably line up closer to what we thought. And then I grabbed a couple 5 stars saying it was the greatest movie of all time. And then I have a 1 star.
Do you want to read off a couple first?
Sure, I'll do one of the 3 stars first. Okay, here we go. Slaughter High may not be the king of the slashers, but it doesn't really have to be. It's a solid middle-of-the-road entry. There's a lot of good pieces here, but also a lot of bad ones. Yeah. It's kind of like a puzzle you only want to put together halfway. I would give it a solid 5 out of 10.
Okay.
I thought that pretty much summed up what I thought about it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's a pretty reasonable review.
All right, here's the 10 out of 10. The Creepy Jester of Doddsville. I first saw Slaughter High when I was like 8, and it has been my favorite slasher movie ever since. Which, hey, I mean, every movie is somebody's favorite movie. Like I've always been a firm believer in that. Obviously, being in the so bad it's good category, Slaughter High seemed different to me than all the other Jason ripoffs from the era. I don't know about that.
I was gonna say it's.
The film is very dark and atmospheric. Well, you got the dark part right.
Oh, it's so dark.
And the abandoned creepy school was downright creepy. Oh, no, the abandoned school was downright, or the abandoned creep. That was my fault.
The abandoned creepy school.
Speaking of which, does anybody else agree that it does not look like a school? No, it doesn't, because it was filmed in England.
Yeah.
Look at all the doors. They are all weird shaped. Reminded me of a door you'd see in an Aladdin movie. And the janitor claims it was closed for 5 years, and one can obviously tell that it had been closed down for a lot longer than that. I must say, I have bragging rights because I myself have the same creepy old man mask that Marty wears. All I need is a jester's hat, and I'll be roaming the halls of Doddsville High in no time. I recommend the movie to anyone. It's creepy, it's funny, it's gory, and it's got a little something for everyone. Or maybe not. And I'm like, there's part of me that's like, I kind of agree with you on some of this stuff. And then there's part of me that's like, but is this a 10 out of 10 review?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a 10 out of 10. All right, here was another 3-star review, kind of middle of the road one. This one is just okay. The setting of the abandoned high school is cool, and a lot of the death scenes are creative. But on the other hand, the acting sucks, the characters are two-dimensional, and they make the stupidest decisions known to mankind. After one of their friends just died, they all decide to go to sleep. I would actually give this a lower rating, but the ending and the special effects boosted up a little bit for me. It's an entertaining mess, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. All right, then this is my last one. 1 out of 10. It didn't deserve 1 star, but that was the lowest I could give it.
Oh,
it's a different take on the I would give this
0 stars if I could.
What a terrible movie. The acting was bad. The pacing was bad. The cinematography was bad. The directing was bad. The special effects were bad. No, they weren't. You expect a certain degree of badness in a slasher. No, you don't. But even the killings were bad. No, they weren't. First of all, the past events that set up the motive for slaughter went on for 15 to 20 minutes. I thought it would never end. They could have removed 80% of it and explained what happened well enough. No, then you would have gotten to see Marty hanging hog. Then the victims were invited to the reunion in an abandoned school, which still had the utilities turned on. Yes, because Digby was there. One of the victims thought that was a little odd, but they dismissed it and decided to break in anyway. Finally, the killings were so fake as to be virtually unwatchable. Disagree. I think the killings were a strong part of the movie. There is no reason to watch this movie unless you want to see some breasts, and not very good breasts at all.
Oh.
This movie makes Showgirls virtually indistinguishable from Citizen Kane.
Okay, then. All right, you ready for mine?
Yep.
1 star. 0 stars if I could.
Oh, got it.
I got to find one of these every time.
Got
today.
me.
I wanted to watch a fun horror movie from the 80s. This was not it. Awful. Caps lock, of course. Besides the atrocious acting, there were all these stupid questions. Clearly made in the UK, but for some reason they pretend it's America. April Fool's Day ends at noon? What? Since when? Frank just totally disappears midway through the movie. Where did he go?
He got killed.
The music was by Harry Manfredi, who did the early Friday the 13th movies, but his work here sounds like a 4-year-old was set loose on a keyboard. The killer magically appears whenever someone needs killing. There's no gore.
That's how slashers work, dude.
There's no gore to speak of except for the bathtub scene, which the acid thing doesn't really give gore. But whatever.
What about the
lawnmower
stomach
and
exploding?
the stomach explosion and the javelin stabbing
and the hatchet to the eye.
Yeah. I know most of this is explained by the cop-out ending, but this made it a waste of time for me. Good points. Let me try to think. None. Oh, I guess. Seeing the Vestron Video logo made me smile. Carolyn Monroe is hot as always. That's about it. If you decide to watch this, good luck.
Wow.
Which is a little too on the bad side for me. I think it was a little bit better than that guy's giving it credit for.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, like we said, we're not saying this is any kind of masterpiece or whatever, but this guy is 10 out of 10. Yes, the plot is hardly plausible and very thin. Yes, the acting ranges from average to laughable. Yes, it's been done so many times before that you want to claw your eyes up with seeing it. However, what we're dealing with is a film that does not shy away from these facts and doesn't pretend to be anything more than it is. There are some original death scenes, and the tension does increase throughout the movie. You are never more than a couple minutes away from a gory kill. I urge everyone to watch this film with an unprejudiced eye and see it for what it truly is. A scary, funny slasher flick that with a theme tune second to none. Big fan of the song.
I mean, I liked the song well enough, but I don't know.
No, Jay, 10 out of 10. This movie is second to none.
Oh boy.
And that was the range of reviews I decided to pull. It took me forever to find would give it 0 stars if I could for Jay.
All right. Naughty list or whatever. I don't know. April Fool's list. Marty has to go above Muffy in April Fool's, right?
Yes.
Marty at least maybe kills 2 people. Muffy kills 0 people.
Yes, Marty at least kills a nurse. So he's above that.
But I guess I wanted to ask you, which movie did you like more?
Honestly, I enjoyed watching this one more than April Fool's Day.
I think April Fool's Day was a better movie.
Yes, it was definitely a better made movie with a better plot, but this one was more fun to watch.
Yep, I agree. All right, well, Jeff, it's time for a little bit of this.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
Oh, God, what's he got? He's reaching for the bag. Oh, no. I hear packages. Oh, God, he's got so many things in there.
All right, well, so I initially had one idea, and then when I was on spring break, I saw something else, and I was like, well, I got to grab that. And then I also grabbed something new to drink. So we got a couple things to do here.
Yeah, Jay went and soaked up some sun in Tel Aviv for spring break.
Went to Branson, Missouri. We got Sprite Chill Strawberry Kiwi Edition. Different
Nice.
than the Cherry Lime Sprite Chill, I think.
Chilling on spring break with Jay.
We got Joe Bob's favorite candy bar,
Oh, my God.
Sky Bars, because I'm not able to find these anywhere.
Oh, my God.
And I found them in like the Branson 5 and Dime store.
Awesome. Now, this is something I'm actually looking forward to trying.
And then to round it all off, this was my original idea, and I'm like, well, we need to do this too. You got a monster in your stocking.
Oh, my God.
It's Christmas themed
Blind boxes.
blind boxes with Universal monsters in it. They're reaction figures from what is it? Planet 7, something 7,
Super 7.
Super 7. So you could get the Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, the Mummy, or the Invisible Man.
Oh, man, I'm hoping for the Mummy. All right, well, I guess we should probably try the Sky Bar first.
Yep. 4 different flavors, I believe. Caramel, vanilla, peanut, and fudge.
Oh, my God. So you're saying I have an excuse to eat the entire thing right now? Jay?
Yep.
I have to try all the flavors. Come on, audience.
Yeah.
And wife.
Joe Bob loves the Sky Bar. I also thought it was fun with Joe Bob being back. It was also another opportunity. All right, I think I got fudge first.
I like it.
I like the fudge.
Good.
I'd say peanut butter's a little weak.
Vanilla's solid.
I didn't know how I would feel about the vanilla. I was like, boy, I would have gone marshmallow, but no, I think the vanilla is pretty good.
Yeah, you're right. Not a lot to the peanut butter.
But the caramel's not bad. I think the vanilla is the real treat of the Sky Bar. I think it's not bad. None of it's bad. But I think the vanilla is the real treat.
All right, Joe Bob, you passed the fat guy test. Your candy bar of choice is pretty good.
I agree. I'm a Sky Bar fan now. Also pretty decent chocolate.
Yeah, I was surprised. Usually these kind of bars, the chocolate's not great. This is the authentic Sky Bar. It's made by Necco for 80 years, from 1938 until March 2018. The Sky Bar Confectionery Company was established specifically to take over production of this beloved and iconic candy bar for you.
Oh, cool.
Want to join the Sky Bar fan
Yeah,
club?
join the Sky Bar family at skybarcandy.com/fan club. I might have to do that. All right, try this.
Maybe we can get a horror for the holidays promotion with Sky Bar.
Oh, man, it'd be great. Instantly, Sprite smells like strawberry kiwi or whatever.
Yeah, I smell it. Very strawberry.
Yeah. It's all right.
Tastes like strawberry Sprite.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Clearly the weakest thing, because whatever's in this box is going to be the best thing on the episode.
It better be the Mummy, Jay. If you get the Mummy, you got to trade me.
All right. Oh, it even has a little thing on the top. To and from Merry Frightmas. I could have bought like a 8-pack of these or whatever, and I'm like, I'm just gonna buy 2.
Yeah. We have enough things. I have too many things.
Same.
All right, here we go. What's it gonna be? Oh man, it's a double blind box. I gotta open the bag. Well. Feel some plastic. Here we go. Oh, it's the Invisible Man. In his Christmas robe. Pretty cool.
And I got the creature from the Black Lagoon. I got the Gill Man.
In full Christmas. He's bright red and green.
I'm going to take a little picture of these.
Yep, go
we
ahead.
can post it on the Insta.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Post it on X, Jay.
while we're doing our live record.
Post it on X and tag Elon.
Elon, have you seen this? It's concerning.
Yes, it'd be like we used a government credit card to buy his Primus figures. No, don't do that. Don't want to be investigated. Don't want big balls showing up at my door, Jay.
Yeah. God, what a stupid timeline. Jesus. All right. Also, did you know the mummy's name is Ardath?
Really?
That's what it says. Frank, Gil, Ardath, and Jack.
I always thought it was Emotep, but okay.
So unless the mummy's name is Jack and the Invisible Man's name is Ardath.
That would be a twist.
But yeah, these are pretty cool. I think
No.
this is series 1, so they might
Yep.
do more next year.
No, it's definitely cool.
Anyway, if you want to get in touch with us, send us an email. Help us find something to do on this stupid podcast. Keep us from buying useless shit and eating useless shit. horrorfortheholidays@gmail.com. Get in touch with us on social media. We are all the places at horror4holidays. That's horror, the number 4 holidays.
YouTube.com/horror for the holidays. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell because that's the real subscribe button. Leave us a review. Leave us a comment. We read all of our YouTube comments. If you want to get in touch with us and you don't know how to contact us because you apparently don't listen to the end of the show, which I don't know why you'd be listening to this part either, but you can always drop us a line in the YouTube comments or on any of the podcatchers comment sections. Give us reviews. 5 stars. We won't read them.
Yeah. We only read 5-star reviews. Help us get to the middle of the podcast
we gotta
ratings
get
as
to
opposed to the bottom.
No, you know what, Jay? Forget about it. The time of Rogan is over. The time for the holidays is now.
I mean, I think the world would be a better place if all the young men in America were listening to you and me for advice instead of Joe Rogan.
I don't know about that. Can you check on that?
Also, something else. Oh, tell a friend. That's the most important
That's the
thing.
something else.
Also, we're proud to be part of the Christmas Podcast Network. Go check out one of their podcasts. One of the other podcasts out there. I believe there's a totally rad Christmas awards show coming out soon, and I think if you listen, you might find out that there's an award-winning podcast.
Oh, boy.
That you're listening to right now. We can now, not officially yet, but soon, you might be able to officially refer to ourselves as award-winning
Yes,
podcast.
we
Horror for
will
the
be able
Holidays.
to refer to ourselves as an award-winning podcast, Jay. I'm really looking forward to it. Shout out to Jerry D. Thank you.
Yeah. But otherwise, we'll see you again next week for a stocking stuffer and 2 weeks for maybe an Easter movie. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
I'm sure we could do something.
We might actually be back in the studio by that point. Time will tell.
We'll see. Jay's still going through the horror of a remodel.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
This house was built on a pet cemetery. Goodbye.
Bye.